Oh, man. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard. Pastor Haynes.
Oh, Rickey, Smiley, come on, man.
No, you got a good word this morning.
I appreciate this so much, Rickey. If we're not careful, people will take us at a discount because they don't even recognize our value. As a matter of fact, when you don't know your value, then people will play you cheap. They will try to get you at a discount. But here's what this song says. This song says you are worth fighting for. It, speaking of your own sense of value and recognizing that God has stamped value on you. You are of such value that as far as God is concerned, you and all that your destiny entails is worth fighting for. So please, whatever else you do, don't you let anybody today play you cheap. Let no one try to get you at a discount because you know your value. And when you know your value, you recognize whose you are. I love that. It starts really with that. When you know whose you are, when you know that you belong to the God of creation who is sovereign, who created you in God's image and in God's likeness, that lets you know you are a person of worth. And yes, you are worth fighting for. I love this song by Brian Courtney Wilson because Brian Courtney Wilson is letting all of us know that you should have high self-esteem. You should believe in yourself because believers are achievers. If you want God to achieve through you, you first of all have to believe in you, and you believe in you when you recognize your worth and your value and know that you are worth fighting for. So guess what? The good news is you ought to lift up your head, straighten up your back, and recognize that you are a person of value. And here's the good news. The good news is you don't even know all that you're going to become in God yet, because it says eyes have not seen, ears have not heard what God has in store for you. The good news is the best is yet to come. So don't let your past get in the way, because God is more concerned with your possibility than your past. God is more concerned with your tomorrow than your yesterday. God is more concerned with where you're going than with where you have been. So even your mistakes in the past can't get in the way of your blessings in the future, because God has placed value on you, value on your future. And as far as I'm concerned, it's worth fighting for.
Hey, Pastor Haynes.
Yes, sir.
I need to ask you a favor this morning. All the nurses out there, I spoke to a nurse last night that was literally in tears, and they worked so hard and losing so many patients, especially in Louisiana, that she said she's going to have to go and get therapy. All the doctors, all of the nurses that's on the front line fighting the disease, seeing the things that we don't get to see on television. Pastor Hank, can you just say a quick word of prayer for them?
Oh, man, let's pray. God, we thank you and praise you that you protect us. You're our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. We thank you, oh God, that when you are with us, you're more than the world against us. You're more than any disease against us. I lift up in prayer right now all of those nurses, all of those healthcare professionals, those doctors who are on the front lines, who are saving others' lives. And while saving others' lives, oh God, they're putting their own lives at risk. But I know, God, they're not in this fight by themselves. So please let all of them feel your presence, your peace, but also your protection. God, protect them. Give them all the resources for protection that they need, and keep their bodies safe, keep their minds safe, and use them as your instruments of healing. In the name of the great physician, Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Hey, thank you, Pastor Haynes. Love you.
Love you, Rickey. Thank you.
Entertainment, sports. It's the front page on the Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
All right, y'all. Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Hey, 12 minutes after the hour. What up, you?
Good morning, Rickey. Good morning, everyone. And a front page news is brought to you by Urban One. Help make a difference in one of the most important elections of our lifetime. Register to vote today at newsone.com/vote. Brought to you by Urban One and One Vote. Represent the vote. Hello, everybody, and happy Wash Up Wednesday. I'm Eva Marcel, bringing you your top news stories. Scientists in charge of the U.S. coronavirus response warn that the next 2 weeks may be extremely difficult. Models show that on the low end, we're looking at least least 100,000 deaths, and on the high end, as many as 240,000 deaths just from the coronavirus alone. In his briefing yesterday, President Trump once again refused to acknowledge that there is a shortage of medical supplies and states are being forced to compete against each other just to get them. Meanwhile, over 100,000 people have signed a petition asking networks to end Trump's daily coronavirus briefings. They just want to have local anchors simply do a recap instead. Now, in other news, Southwest Georgia has become one of the hardest hit areas in the country. The coronavirus spread amongst dozens of African Americans after attending a funeral at the end of February in Albany, Georgia. Alrighty, that was a quick look at your headline news. For more,
Eva, you wouldn't believe over 200 something. That is like a real hot spot. My cousin that works for AT&T told me that the nurse that started with her, I'm not the nurse, but the her co-worker, she works for AT&T. They started together. They the same age, and she died. And it's like been 200 something deaths in Albany, Georgia. Like it's like really, it's getting really dangerous everywhere. It's bad
everywhere. That's why the shelter in place is not elective. You have to stay home unless you're an essential worker, just for the good of other people, even if you're healthy, just to help others.
Right.
But alrighty, that was a quick look at your headline news. For more on everything we're talking about, log on to the Rickey Smiley morningshow.com. Brock T, what's popping in sports, my brother?
What's going on, Eva? Well, let's shout out to Vanessa Bryant, man. She's celebrating the release of Kobe Bryant's new book called The Wisenard Series, Season 1. It is out, man. She posted on Instagram yesterday, man. So big ups to that, and go check out Kobe's work, man. It's phenomenal. The NBA will be partnering with NBA 2K, the video game, and having a live tournament on ESPN and ESPN2. I love this, man. It's starting this Friday.
Dope.
It will run all the way through April the 11th. Now, check this out, y'all. 16 NBA players will be competing in the tournament, including Trae Young with the Atlanta Hawks and Kevin Durant. He's playing in the tournament as well, man. It's going to be live on television. I'm going to be checking this out, man. It's going to be off the chain. The winner will receive a $100,000 check to give to a charity in support of the coronavirus relief efforts. It is what it is. Last but not least, speaking of tournament, Munch Madness Tournament of Champions for breakfast cereals is still going on. Round number 1. Keep voting, y'all. The voting is out. It's going down. We have 2 Cinderellas. King Vitamin, could they knock off Corn Pops? Could Kaboom upset Golden Grams? Oh, they going back and forth. Oh, come on, dog. It's going down. And Rick, you got Honey Nut Cheerios in the first round to beat Cookie Crisp. But you know what? They struggling.
No.
All of your votes I'm telling you, man, all of your votes is going to determine who's going to advance to the Sweet 16, which will be announced this Friday. So get to munchmadness.com and spell madness with 2 D's. It's going down real big. What's up there, Gary?
All right, y'all. Everybody's talking about it, congratulating Future finally for a change, y'all. They're saying that Future's charity, the Free Wishes Foundation, has teamed up, y'all, with the Atlanta Sewing Shop to make the masks, y'all. They're going to make masks for people all over the world, y'all, during this coronavirus epidemic. Now, they're saying, y'all, nobody know the number of masks that has been released yet, but they're saying this is what his foundation is doing. So congratulations. You know, even what's so exciting about it, some people saying, y'all, that Lori may be pulling out her sewing machine from her economics class and helping sew some of the masks. So congratulations to her and good luck to them in their endeavors during this situation. Also,
it's a sewing machine from her economics class.
Yes, but she probably taking her economics class. You know, she just got out of college. So
petty.
Congratulations, honey. And also, they're saying, y'all, that J-Lo, honey, is giving every woman in the world hope. It's being reported, y'all, that J-Lo last night gave herself a manicure.
What?
Yes, she gave herself a manicure. Yes, isn't that nice?
We often do. Yeah, that's normal, Gary.
No, not J-Lo, honey. I mean, women y'all used to go to the shops and get y'all nails done. But J-Lo gave herself one on social media, and everybody just raving about it because, you know, you just don't see celebrities doing stuff like that, giving themselves a manicure. Do you give yourself a manicure?
I used that pad last night.
You lose your pad? You always use your pad.
That pad, the bomb.
And you know they got a new one out, Ricky. It's kind of like an electric.
Yeah, you plug it up. I saw it on Instagram.
Yes, I was like, oh, that's cute. So what you think, the electric one would be better or the regular just scrape with your own hand?
No, you need the electric one, Gary. We seen your feet. You need that.
I definitely, probably the electric one. I would like to try that one.
Yeah, so it was cute. Yeah, that's what it is. I said, that's cute, y'all. But anyway, congratulations, J-Lo. Not more women to start doing their own manicures, y'all. The color today is one of my favorite spring colors. My color today, y'all, is khaki. On the high end, you say khaki, and on the low end, you say beautiful olive green. That's your color for today. All right, y'all, up next, Brad got your hot spot. Next, Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
The Rickey Smiley Morning Show, baby.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
So hot and that's hot. You can catch me at the hot spot. It's the BR18.
All right, y'all. Rickey Smiley Morning Show. What up, Brett?
What up, Rickey? Good morning, everybody. I'm your girl, Brett Ted, and this is The Hot Spot, where we bring you just everything. We ain't gonna say music, movies, and more, because we got so much on Corona. All right, y'all, here it is. So Jay-Z teamed up with Rihanna to donate to coronavirus relief efforts, y'all. That's right. They donated $1 million apiece. Jay-Z via his Sean Carter Foundation, and Rihanna is giving back through her Clara Lionel Foundation. The Sean Carter Foundation revealed in a statement that the donation will support undocumented workers, children on frontline healthcare workers, and first responders, and incarcerated elderly and homeless people in New York and Los Angeles. That's right. The money will also cover daycare, learning materials, food supplies for children of healthcare workers and first responders. So they will provide learning materials for over 20,000 youth in shelters and virtual mental health support for parents. That is amazing, y'all. Moving on, Drake goes live with Tory Lanez on Quarantine Radio, because if you remember, I reported sometime last week that Tory Lanez posted that Drake did have the virus because he was hanging around Kevin Durant. I think it was kind of a joke, but anyway, Drake really went on there. So he had over 300,000 people watching, and during the live radio, Tory said, "We know you was around Kevin Durant and when he caught the coronavirus. So what are you doing to stay corona free at this time or at that time?" And Drake responded, "Honestly, a glass of wine keeps corona away, boys." I doubt if that's true. So I guess he was just joking, but calling them boys, I guess, was a little bit degrading. So I guess he kind of like got him back a little bit. Anyway, y'all, moving on. Lizzo, y'all, she's sending lunch to the staff at hospitals in Washington and Minnesota. This is so sweet. That's right. She is serving lunch to medical professionals at hospitals across the country that are on the front lines for the COVID-19 virus pandemic. The 31-year-old singer, she sent lunch to ERs at the University of Washington and the University of Minnesota on Monday, and they verified it on the Twitter account, and they told her, "Thank you so much for providing lunch for the staff." The tweet included a video of the singer thanking the hospital workers as well. That is so nice. Oh my God, we got to do something like that, y'all. What we gonna do, Rick?
So
what we gonna
sweet.
do?
Well, what I've been doing, I've been finding people that's doing stuff like that and just sending them a cash app. You know, I just send them like a donation where they could buy, 20 extra meals, individual people on social media that's really out. I see, they're not the ones that's in the inbox, the one that's actually out there doing it. Then I go in their inbox and then I send them money where they can extend the service that they're doing.
Oh, that's so nice. I got to get with you on that so we can do some. I want to help do some stuff like that too. Well, moving on, y'all. Last but not least, an update on DJ Jazzy Jeff. He says, "I'm good, thank God, after recovering from pneumonia in both lungs and losing the sense of smell and taste." He posted, "I'm good, thank God." He said, "But please understand, we need to look out for each other. He's recovering from pneumonia." And he also said he lost the sense of smell and taste, which I already said, but he thanked his wife and he warned people to please stay at home. All right, y'all, that's it for the Hot Spot. I'm your girl, Brett Tat. To get caught up on those stories and more, you can go to RickeySmileyMorningShow.com. Coming up next, y'all, we got Dr. Collier, Dr. MJ Collier, as he schools us more on the coronavirus. Time right now is 26 minutes before the top of the hour, y'all. It's the Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
This is the Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
12 before the time now, yo. We got the one and only Dr. MJ Collier on the phone. Dr. Collier, good morning.
Good morning, Rickey Smiley, and all the Rickey Smiley Morning Show listeners. Good morning, Brett. That was a great update this morning. Rickey,
Good morning.
I like that song. We're gonna have that as the theme song for the COVID virus update. Crazy in Love. That'll be good while people are locked down. Okay, Rickey, we got some good information for you today, and here we go with it. Yesterday, we had 163,479 confirmed cases. That increased to 175,000. Again, we had 3,146 recoveries. We had 821 deaths in one day. That's the highest number that we've had. So that's, again, showing you that this is real and we have to stay on top of it. Again, it's projected that we will have from 100,000 to 200,000 deaths during this pandemic, and it's going to be directly related to how well we stay at home and stay on self-imposed restrictions. Okay, we had a major breakthrough yesterday. Yesterday, we talked about the need for a serology test. That is the test that determines that you have immunity to the disease, that you have gotten it and that you have gotten over it. Well, a private lab has created a point-of-care test, Ricky. A point-of-care test means I can do it in my office. It can be done in urgent cares. It can be done in hospitals, and you get the results within 15 minutes. That point-of-care test is going to do two things. It's going to, one, test you for the disease, whether you're positive or negative. And it will test you for antibodies. Because remember, people can be asymptomatic. They could have had the disease and not even known it, and now they have antibodies. So you're going to get two pieces of information from one test instead of having to have two separate tests in two different labs in over a prolonged period of time. This is a game changer. Once we get that data down, it's going to really, really change. Because what we're going to be able to do now, and I'm going to see the place I see this really is for going to be people that are returning back to work. Because a serology test, if you're in an acute infection state, which means you just have gotten the disease, then you're not going to have antibodies. It's going to take a couple of weeks to make the antibodies. So I would expect that test to be negative. So if I have a person that has been confirmed by a nasal swab, and then it's, after a couple of weeks they're trying to get back to work, then this test will be perfect because it will confirm that they are now negative, and it would also confirm that they have antibodies. I'm going to start calling these people the super soldiers because they're going to be out. They're going to be able to go out, do anything, be around anybody because they'll have a personal immunity and they will be protected. So that is going to be the workforce that's going to
So that's the purpose of the vaccine.
Yes, but we're not going to have a vaccine for a year.
Yeah, I know that. I know that, but that's what a vaccine would do: give you the antibodies.
That's what exactly. It just clicked.
It just clicked.
Yeah, but this is going to be herd immunity, and that's going to be caused by people having gotten the disease and having gotten over it. And they're going to use again. These people will be a very good source, drawing their blood serum to create a vaccine. It will probably help speed up vaccine production. But even fast tracking a vaccine, by the time they create it, grow it, get it out to people, we're still looking at, next year's coronavirus outbreak, trying to prevent a recurrence of that. So
hold that thought, Dr. Collier. More information on the coronavirus. I got a really important question with Dr. MJ Collier coming up next. Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
The Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
MJ Collier giving us COVID-19 updates. Now, Dr. Collier, why the numbers in Albany, Georgia is so high for that to be such a small town?
Great question, Ricky. That's a phenomenal question. It is actually thought that the major contamination came from a gathering of a large number of people for a funeral. And so from that, multiple people, of course, you leave the funeral, you go out, and for each person, it's thought that every person was possible to infect 6 to 8, maybe even 10 people. So if it was 50 people at that funeral, then, and each one of them doing 10 people, that's 500 cases, and so it increases exponentially from there. So that is one of the main reasons that they are really, really trying to shut down large gatherings. Funeral has been almost an emotional exception, but now funeral parlors are coming up with unique ideas, but they're not letting in more than 10 people for services, and they might, have multiple services where you do 10 and then 15 minutes later you do 10 more people, or, some of them have even had, if they have a window, they have drive-by, so you can drive by, pay your respects, stay in your car, see and view the deceased, and then move on with your day. So, again, people are getting very creative and out of necessity to help protect themselves. But the Phoebe Putney Hospital in Albany is really, really being overwhelmed, and the whole city is being overwhelmed. So they're a little behind the curve as far as staying in place is concerned. So we're going to, that has been emphasized there, and hopefully we'll be able to break that down a little bit. But one thing about it, after they get over it, they will have herd immunity, and that's probably going to be one of the safest cities that you could visit.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Dr. Collier, you say in the next 2 weeks it's going to be crazy.
Like yesterday, again, the largest number of deaths that we have seen in one day, almost 900 people. We can expect that number to be every day. It's going to be probably a bigger or a higher number. And, that's one of the reasons that they are concerned about these 2 cruise ships that they don't want to dock here in the United States. One, they're not ported here in the United States, and their flags are not from the U.S. So I don't even understand why we're supporting the cruise ship industry, period. But this is a humanitarian effort, and one of the things they're trying to decide is because they have documented cases on board these ships, they have people that have died on board these ships, and so you have one of them has a crew of 4 doctors and about 10 nurses, and they're taking care of about 3,000 people, including the cruise ship vacation people and the crew of the ship. So they got about 3,000 people they're trying to take care of. So, letting those individuals off and then trying to treat them, at minimum, is going to take up space that Americans could be having in American hospitals. But, it's a humanitarian thing, and it's being considered right now as what to do with these people to help them as best as they can. So we had one more major breakthrough yesterday, Ricky. The FDA, the United States Food and Drug Administration, approved officially hydroxychloroquine in the treatment of active coronavirus. Now, people have been doing this. I told you at the hospitals that I'm affiliated with, everybody that's in the ICU are on the hydroxychloroquine unless they have a contraindication to taking it. But the vast majority of them are on that in combination with azithromycin, the Z-Pack. So the FDA chief was quoted as saying it is reasonable to believe that the drug might be effective in the treatment of the COVID-19 virus because it's been used in all the other countries. Now, they're doing studies here in the FDA, and they like to do, double-blind studies. That takes time. It takes, they need to get this medicine to people now. And so they're using studies that have been performed in China and other countries in Europe, and they're taking that information and saying it's reasonable to do so in the United States. People are already doing it. If I have a person that tests positive, I'm placing them on that treatment regimen. So that medication is safe. It's been used since the 1930s for the treatment of malaria. But most recently, they have morphed it and started using it for autoimmune diseases such as lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. And so the drug, its brand name is Plaquenil. So when you hear the term Plaquenil, then that's what they're talking about, the hydroxychloroquine. And so it does have some side effects in some people. It can cause problems with your heart rhythm because it prolongs what's called the QT interval on your EKG, but it can cause your heart to beat irregularly. It can cause hypotension or very low blood pressure. That's hypotension with low blood pressure. It also, in some people at high doses, can cause damage to muscles and nerves, and you might not be able to recover, particularly from the nerve damage. And in individuals, it's also been noted to cause some damage to the retina of the eye, so it could result in some visual problems, even in blindness. But for the vast majority of people, it's going to be safe to take. It's going to help them get through it, and it's going to be the drug of choice in combination with the azithromycin. So now we have a weapon in our armamentarium. It's not perfect, but it's what we have, and it does help. And so, if a person tests positive, they're not going to offer it to you immediately. They're going to save it for people with their more severe cases. For mild to moderates, and once again, 80% of people will get it. 80% of people will feel bad for a week. 80% of people will get over it. And so that's actually, a good thing because we're going to have the herd immunity, and we're going to have, people that are the super soldiers that are going to be out there, and they're going to be able to take care of all the rest of the people.
All right, Dr. Collier, let everybody know how you can be reached.
Okay, Ask Dr. MJ on Instagram, Ask Dr. MJ on Facebook as well. So you can reach me there, and we will communicate with you and answer all your questions. And also, we're posting information and videos. You can also go to LipoDrops, LipoDrops.com to get information about supplements that can help boost your immune system as well as keep that Corona 15 off of you. We don't want everybody to come back, get over the coronavirus, and now they have high blood pressure, diabetes because they gained so much weight while they were in seclusion.
Right. Dr. Collier, you're going to be joining us later on this morning. We really appreciate you.
It's Gary. I wanna hip you to the T.
It's Gary, baby.
All right, y'all. Rick's Mountain Morning Show, 10 minutes after the hour. Gary has the tea and the clue of the day. What up, Gary?
Good morning, Ricky. Good morning, America. Good morning to you. It's Tuesday, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And here's what's happening in celebrity news, y'all. Pharrell Williams, y'all. Everybody is talking about Pharrell. They're saying he's catching heat for asking his fans, y'all, to donate to hospitals amid, y'all, the coronavirus pandemic. Now, they're saying, y'all, he said hospitals are running low on mask gowns and other critical items. And he said, y'all, we need to replenish their supplies. He said, take action. He said, make a donation and ask others to join in the fight. Now, he posted it, y'all, to his 12 million Twitter followers. But baby, his fans wasted no time, honey, clapping back, honey. They said, wait a minute, honey, we're being laid off and can't pay our bills, honey, but thanks for asking. And then they said, imagine, honey, asking the people who most likely are being laid off right now to donate while you could just get your fellow celebs, honey, to raise money, with what another Twitter follower told him. And then somebody wrote to him, a third person wrote, so let me get this straight. You're asking the millions of Americans who may not have a job right now to donate, and you're asking people who have an average household income of less than $55,000 to donate? They're saying, honey, first of all, for real, your Beverly Hills mansion is up for sale for $17 million, honey. They say you literally have you literally live, honey, in a community college, honey, spending Khalees milkshake royalty checks on Uber Eats, and honey, you're asking us to donate? Yes, ma'am, baby, they lit in.
Wait a minute. What he was asking for the donation for again?
He was asking for people to just donate to the hospitals because they said the hospitals needed masks and gowns and all this stuff. And the people said, how you gonna ask us to donate? Hell, you're a millionaire, and hell, we don't even have jobs. And you ask us to donate?
Know he didn't donate. How do they know he hasn't helped him donate?
Well, I tell you what, honey, evidently he may have donated, but he didn't donate it by himself. If you go, in some instances, and I think, Ricky, you may have done it. You didn't ask nobody to come and help you to donate. You donated. If you
the whole thing is a call to action, Gary. So
no. Go ahead. But hold on. What you said, Ricky? Finish that.
What I do, I just I watch on social media. I see who's helping, and I go in their inbox, and I send them a private cash app and leave it at that.
And you didn't call me and ask me to donate, which I know you did it yourself. So
well, I know you would not have anyway, so
and I don't even have, and I would have the means. But the thing is, when you do stuff like that, you can't really sometimes ask other people. When you're a millionaire, and you ask the people that, like he said, people said about to lose their jobs,
or maybe just
everybody does it in their own way,
right.
And that's just his way of saying if you can help.
He didn't say you can. He said donate
millions of dollars.
He didn't say if you can
help.
But he didn't say if you can. He told them.
But Gary, what's wrong with asking people to help in this situation? Like,
it's nothing wrong with it. I know it's nothing wrong with it. But sometimes you just do stuff your way, honey. You just do it and let the Lord bless you, and that be between you and the good Lord, honey. But especially if you're rich like him, and then you ask these people, like they say, hey, we got an average income of $55,000, and you selling your mansion for $17 million. So, so that's just the way it is.
Yeah, but people need to know his heart and know that he was making an effort to do the right thing.
Yeah, but they're going to always have those Twitter followers that say, don't be coming and asking us to do it. You just do your part and do enough for everybody, and the Lord going to bless you and keep you is their prayer. So we're going to see how this all turns.
Well, at least he's thinking about other people, though. So that's what matters.
Yeah, but why they brought up Khalees milkshake money? Did he get her royalty checks?
Because they petty.
Oh, that's what it is.
Good
all
answer,
right.
Brad.
Moving on, honey. Another celebrity news, y'all. Now, in the time of Corona, y'all, Wayne Brady, y'all, is letting the world know that what we really need, I guess, is love. Now, he's speaking out, y'all. He's letting the world know that, yes, he is quarantined right now. They say, but he's quarantined, honey, with his ex-wife and her current boyfriend and his daughter. Yes. Because, he loves his daughter, and, his ex-wife, Mandy, I guess she loved her new man. I guess Wayne wants to be close to his daughter. So he had to go to her house with her man and the daughter. Isn't that nice? Can't we do that right now for Corona? Spread love.
I hope it's not far from there.
I don't know about that now.
Y'all don't think y'all can do that?
With the ex-wife and the
current
it sounds like they have a really, really good relationship, and so I think you can do that. Like if your ex, you guys are friends, you like completely over the in love phase, and you're co-parenting and y'all good friends. I could see that. I couldn't do it, but I could see it.
Yeah, could you do it, Ricky? Could you be with your ex-wife and her current boyfriend and your child?
Yeah. Yeah, my ex, that dude real nice and real nice to my kids. He cool and real helpful and friendly or whatever. Yeah, if it came down to it, or whatever, and have a conversation, absolutely.
So congratulations, because
it's always in the best interest of the kids.
Well, it's not a conversation, Ricky. He's saying, can you be quarantined with them in the house?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sleeping in the room next to them.
No.
Exactly.
It wouldn't bother me. Yeah, I had my day. I moved on.
First dibs.
I'm one of them type of dudes. I don't be caring no more.
Okay, yeah, so there you have it.
I be like that dude on The Color Purple. Yeah, I had it my way and you had it your way.
That's yours.
Yeah. And it's love when you're mature enough, I think you could accept those things. I mean, like you said, if you were there first or whatever and they matured to say anything, I mean, you could look at your ex and just like, oh, love him and do whatever y'all need to do, honey, just move on. But, I mean, petty people, like you just said, even that's who would get into it or what have you. And stuff
Listen,
like that.
two baby mamas ain't going to get along. Them the ones not going to get along.
Yeah, exactly. So there you have it, honey. All right, the color today, y'all, is one of my favorite spring colors. My color today is khaki. On the high end, you say khaki, and on the low end, you say beautiful olive green. That's your color for today.
All right, y'all, give it up for Gary with the T. All right, y'all, we got Janai Thornton coming up next, talking about quarantine finances. Keep you safe and healthy, but we always concerned about your finances as well because a lot of businesses have closed down. And, there's a lot of information out there that can keep you, just kind of hold you over until all of this stuff is over with. I want y'all to give it up and show your love right now for Janai Thornton this morning.
Good morning, Rickey Smiley. Good morning, Rickey Smiley Show.
Hey, good morning. We are
Janai.
so happy to have you this morning. I know it's a lot of new developments out there because we hadn't had you on since last week. What's out there now?
Well, kind of the top things right now, Rickey, that folks are talking about, obviously, it's this whole thing of not being able to pay your bills, whether it's your mortgage or your car note or your student loans or credit cards. So a lot of people are trying to determine what's the difference between deferring their payments or forbearing their payments. So what that means is they both allow you to postpone your payments, but forbearance means interest is still adding up, and the deferment means it's not. So for most of us, we're going to get forbearances, but please call your creditors and let them know if you can't make any payments right now.
Also, Janai, for forbearance, if you get a forbearance versus a deferment, when it's time to start paying, a lot of companies, like my mortgage company in particular, they will give you 3 months to figure it out. But at the end of that 3 months, they want all their mortgage.
Right.
They're not tacking it on the back end like a deferment. So a deferment, they tack it on the back end. A forbearance, when you have to start paying back, you have to pay back everything.
And so you're going to need to find out. Each company is handling things differently because some are allowing you to tack it on the back end. Some companies are asking for the full amount after the forbearance period. So it is a case-by-case basis. But even the important thing is you don't get this automatically. You have to request this. So you're going to have to contact your creditors.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, Janai, Special K.
Yeah.
Hey, so in regard to renters in particular, got a lot of people on Facebook asking about renters who are living in apartment complexes or renting from private landlords. What are their options in this situation?
Well, I was reading an article yesterday, a New York Times article that says they expect 40% of New York tenants not to pay their rent in April at all. 40%. So as a renter, a lot of cities and states are having a moratorium on evictions, meaning that you cannot get evicted right now. But the challenge is if you are the landlord. And I actually had a tenant who called me yesterday and said, I didn't get laid off, but my income actually has been cut in half. Can you reduce my rent? You're going to have to, again, have those conversations. And as the landlord, if you have a mortgage on your property, you as well are going to have to contact your lender and say, hey, I'm having some challenges. Can I defer or forbear my payments right now until things settle down some?
Right. Right.
Well, speaking of homes, when it comes to like refinancing, since interest rates have definitely dropped right now and you're trying to consider refinancing your home, how do you really go through that process? Because you have to get appraisers to come out, but since we're kind of stay at home, you can't really get an appraiser to come out to find out the value so that you could, get a good interest rate.
Right. Well, Eva, what's really interesting right now is you think the banks are really, really overwhelmed. People are trying to refinance. People are calling to push back mortgage payments. So I suggest if you can qualify for a refinance, I would do it right now. But you're going to have to be patient because obviously depending upon where you live, those are not essential workers. So they may not even be able to come out. There may be a delay. And I haven't heard yet if some states or in some cities if appraisers have come up with a new way to to do with the situation right now. But please keep moving the ball forward because we're going to get back on track, and I don't want people to miss the opportunity of rates. They have never been this low ever.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, it seems like didn't the federal government or some states are telling people to stop rent because people don't have it. How somebody gonna pay what they don't have and the money that they have? They don't know if we're gonna be in quarantine for the next 2 or 3 months. What are they supposed to do?
Right, and that's when, Ricky, that's when the federal government essentially said, if you live in federally subsidized housing, if you have a federally subsidized mortgage, what they said is you can't evict people right now. So essentially, that's the same thing as saying you might not get paid right now. Because you can't. In most cities, I think there are 34 states right now that has a moratorium on evictions right now because they know people can't pay.
Right.
But those are just for federal loans, right? So, like, if you have federal student loans or if you have an FHA loan on your home, that doesn't mean or include people that have private loans.
Correct. So that means for those of us who have private loans, we are going to have to contact our lender, Eva, and work something out.
Got you.
Wow.
But that doesn't change the fact if you have a city that says, just like I live in the city of Atlanta, our mayor said, hey, there will be no evictions right now, period. They're not going to happen. So that means the department that handles evictions, they're not putting people out right now because they know that they can't. So many people cannot pay.
Right. All right, Janai Thornton, thank you so much for coming on, giving us that information. Let everybody know how you can be reached.
Please send me your financial questions to at Janai Thornton, JINITHORNTON. Y'all take care now.
There it is. I appreciate you. Coming up next, man, we got Pastor Fran, Church in 60 Seconds. You don't want to miss it. Rickey Smiley Morning Show. 27 before the top of the hour, y'all. Church in 60 Seconds with Pastor Fran.
Good morning. Yeah. Good morning, Brother Rickey. Good morning. I hope that you and everybody, I hope that you all are having a blessed time during this time. You know, I know it's a little rough on most of us, but you know, those of us that come up in the hood, if you might say, come on now. Many of us, you know, came up. You know, some of us came up with nothing.
Right.
You know, so we have learned that even in the worst of times, we've learned how to cope or survive. I'm a survivor. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to stop. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor because I've learned how to make it with a little of nothing. Now we are faced with situations that may seem like we're backed up against the wall, but just because a young lady can't go to the hair salon don't mean she can't get her hair done. She just got to pull out the hot comb. Got to pull out the royal crown. She got to slick it down like she used to. She may have to burn her neck a couple of times. Got to pull out the rollers. We know how to make it. We know how to get pork and beans and beanie weenies. We know how to make it. You can't keep us down. We'll come back fighting. Keep on fighting. Don't give up. Keep on wearing hand-me-downs. Do what you got to do to make it through. You'll get through. Cause the same God that brought you to it, He'll bring you through it. Say Follow me at 12, Pastor Fred, down to the Goodwill. I'll meet you there.
Pastor Fred, y'all, Church in 60 Seconds, man. Ain't that beautiful? Church in 60 Seconds. It don't get no more better than that, man. Hey, Chicken the Whopper Mix coming up next. Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
Yo, my pleasure, my Rickey.
I appreciate that. Black Tony, where you at today, bro? Where you at? You're supposed to be quarantined.
I'm in quartering. I'm quartering. I'm on my way. I'm finna come over your house though, shawty. I'm finna come over there.
Say what?
I'm finna come out your house. I'm finna come.
Oh no, bro, you can't even come in my driveway, bro.
Look, shawty, I got some hid over there in your backyard, shawty. I'm finna come get my dope. I got 20.
No, bro, I know you ain't buried nothing. Did you?
Get, boy.
What?
Hey, look, you better look.
I'm about to call the police.
I got something for you though, shawty.
What you got?
I got something ain't nobody over there got.
What?
I got 60 rolls of that toilet tissue.
You got some Clorox wipes?
I got 60 rolls of toilet tissue, real toilet tissue. Not real toilet tissue.
Bounty?
Oh
no. Sean, boy, what?
Yo, it thick too, boy. It thick. It feel like you wiping your ass with a baby blanket. It's real thick.
The Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Okay, I can't.
Get ready. Good morning, Rickey. Good morning, America. Good morning to you. It's Tuesday, a beautiful, beautiful day in the neighborhood. And here's what's happening in celebrity news, y'all. Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kenya Moore. She is speaking out. And Rickey, this brought tears to my heart. I mean, it made me cry, y'all. She recently said, she was doing an interview and she was really talking about her soon-to-be ex-husband, Mr. Mark Daly. But she said, though, Rickey, that she tried to do and tried to be everything, honey, for this man. She wanted to be everything that he wanted her to be. But one of the things that really hurted her so bad, she said, was she was never able to speak to his parents.
What?
He did not allow her to talk to his parents. She never talked to her in-laws. That is sad.
Well, I wish a lot of people, that's probably a blessing for her. Probably a blessing for a lot of people, man, because everybody don't like their in-laws.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but I mean, that poor baby Brooklyn, would she get to know her grandparents? Because the mama can't talk to her? I mean, so even we were recently in the same vicinity. I mean, did you detect that? Did you know that?
Well, no. I mean, what I do know is that Kenya's a great mom and Mark's a great dad. And so, you never really know what's going on in people's family and personal lives, especially when it comes to their parents. And I'm not one to pry. But, I know she has great parents. I know that for sure.
Yeah, who's the baby?
Yes, the baby.
Yeah,
now,
the
the grandparents, I can't tell you about that.
Oh, it just brought tears to my eyes. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, Rick, I know you said it could be good and stuff, but not being able to talk to your in-laws, you can't call your mother and say, Mama, this bastard is acting a fool right now. Should I give him something to eat or put him to sleep? You can't even do that. I mean...
You would never do that, Gary, even if you talk to your in-laws.
I don't know, but we just got to pray. It was sad, though, y'all. But anyway, let's keep Kenya lifted. I like Kenya, honey. She's a very sweet young lady, no matter what people say that she may have done.
You know what? She showed us a different side of herself this season. You know what I'm saying? Her vulnerable side and not like her always wanting to be in the mess side.
Right.
So let's keep her lifted, y'all. All right, moving on. In other celebrity news, y'all. Oh, my God. Recording artist, y'all, Seal. We all know Seal, honey, the great singer, honey, who sang The Rose and all that stuff. He admitted, y'all, that he had no idea that his ex-wife, Heidi Klum, had gotten married, honey, to a Tokyo hotel rocker by the name of Tom Cruise. Now, Heidi and Celia are still struggling, they said, and she admitted, y'all, to co-parenting with the singer can be definitely hard, which I don't know how it could be hard with them. Now, she told Red Magazine, she said, there's always a reason why you're not with someone anymore, She said, honey, it's not all rosy. It just isn't. She said, sometimes it's hard, but then you have to all come together as a family, and sometimes everything is just like hopping on clouds. She said, it's just the way it is. But I don't believe Heidi is saying it. And it's amazing that this man, this African-American man, and this European woman, how they are not getting along, or how they didn't get along, because Heidi sat on Oprah Winfrey's show and said she was in a luxury hotel one day just sitting in the lobby, and Seal happened to walk through the lobby in some bicycle pants. And she said when she looked and saw him, she almost lost her mind. And they got married. Now they can't stand each other.
It happens, Gary.
But even if you sit there and see a man in bicycle pants, honey, with no undergarment, and you just fell in love, and now y'all done had 3 kids, you said y'all can't get along. Now, what's the problem?
She fell in lust, Gary.
Is that what that was?
And now that we're separated, we can't stand one another.
Okay. Because they can't stand one another, honey. She said, honey, it's hard, but I mean, I just find that amazing and stuff. Because I mean, most of the time, people like, what's his name, Seal. I mean, if Keisha was to fall in love with, he would have never married her. But Heidi came along.
Don't do that, Gary.
Her, and honey, they had on a trip. Now they can't stand each other. So, so it's just something. I mean, that's just me. I don't know, honey. Or maybe just somebody talking in my ear. I don't know.
No, you're right. That's just you. Because every relationship has issues. Interracial, gay, straight, it doesn't matter. Everybody goes through their stuff, Gary.
But now y'all don't like each other, but you loved him when you saw him walking through the hotel lobby in the bicycle pants.
Well, we all did. We all saw that.
Everybody.
We all saw that big ass eclipse with the sun, and then now you can't stand her no more.
Exactly.
Now, all right,
John. Like your homeboy, like don't look at it with your naked eye. That big old booty walk past you in the club, it eclipsed the disco light. You felt like you had to have a cake. You had to have it. What did you say,
You wish you had never got out of bed that day. 3 years later, you wish you had never got out of bed that day. You wish y'all never breathed the same air. You wish you had ran out of gas on the way to the club. You wish you had caught a flat. You wish you had got hit by a speeding train. Anything.
That's reaching.
Sorry, y'all. I got personal.
Hey,
I don't know. I got come on.
Boy, she walked past you, boy. Boy, that booty was sitting up like them old air conditioners sitting out of the window at your grandma's house, man. She was looking so thick, man. Them eyebrows and them eyelashes was on fleek, dog. And now 3 years later, what
it
came?
Was all there.
What?
Boy, you wish you got bit by a rattlesnake that time.
Stop it, Gay. Stop it, dog.
You wish you had drowned in summer camp when you was a child.
Now that was reaching. The cologne today is one of my favorite spring colognes. My cologne today is khaki. On the high end, you say khaki, and on the low, you say beautiful olive green. That's your cologne for today.
Hey, Kay, you in bed? You in love?
Your umbilical cord. You wish you had choked on your umbilical cord when you was a baby.
Hey, she was that bad. You wish you wasn't even born, Kay. That's how bad she was.
You was, boy. Woo. You wish your mama had fell down some steps.
Stop it, go to commercial, man.
Oh, man, I'm crying. Let me tell you, former White House physician in the Obama administration and primary physician to the Vice President Pence. Ladies and gentlemen, she has worked for 2 presidential administrations and is currently working on the front lines for the stay-at-home campaign fighting the spread of coronavirus. Please give it up and show your love for Dr. Jennifer.
Thank you so much.
So I know it's a lot of misinformation out there, and we are headed to a crisis right now. And I know that it's supposed to get really, really bad in the next couple of weeks. What's some of the stuff that we probably don't know?
Yes, you're right. That's the biggest concern is where this curve is going to end up, right? A lot of us are listening to the news and recommendations to stay at home so we can flatten this curve. But the reality is none of us know when that's exactly going to happen, right? There's a lot of models out there saying it can happen in 2 weeks, it can happen in 1 month. We don't know. So the key is going to be staying at home as much as possible. Let the frontline workers do their jobs, because the more we stay home, the more we can prevent the transmission and make this quarantine time shorter for everybody.
So we need to have a stay-at-home campaign on this morning show, because to me, listening to the news and everything that I've been watching for the past couple of weeks is simple. Stay at home and stop touching your face and wash your hands. Am I right, Dr. Jennifer?
That's right. That's right. And the thing is, like I try to tell my patients and tell my family and everybody else, is there's no magic pill, right? There's no treatment at this point that is guaranteed to work. There is no magic vaccine yet, right? It's all about our own behaviors. And so we need to try to do our part and stay home so that physicians like me, we can go out and do our job. Let's not overwhelm the healthcare system unless we absolutely have to be in the hospital. So staying at home, I'm part of this campaign, #StayHome, where we're trying to spread the good word about encouraging people to do their part. We have to play it safe to spread, stop the spread of this virus. Otherwise, we're going to be in this for a much longer term.
Right. Go ahead, Eva.
Well, what I want to know is they're saying that daily this curve is about to happen and we're supposed to stay at home, and the stay at home order hasn't really been put in place by the president. So I know that you are specifically on the front lines of this campaign. What does this mean? They say essential workers are people that work in like healthcare and things like that. So what exactly does it mean to stay at home?
Yeah, and that's a great point that you bring up, because the thing is, there's a lot of different communication, right, coming from the federal government and then from our local governments. And so that's why we have to just empower ourselves to do the right thing and stay home. What that means is essential personnel, so people who are healthcare workers, people who are in law enforcement, people who absolutely have to be at work should really be the only ones out there. In terms of us and the things we need to do, only going out of the house to get essential things, food, essential items. Otherwise, stay at home, work from home, telecommute. Also, if you need medical attention that's not emergent, use telemedicine. Try to call your docs. Try to stay away from the hospital and the clinics as much as possible, because every time you go out, you risk exposure. So that's what that stay at home really means. And you're right. Again, if the local governments aren't necessarily enforcing this, if the federal government's not enforcing this, then we're going to have to take it upon ourselves to self-enforce so that we can do our part.
Wow. Go ahead.
Son, and he needs his vaccinations. So what do we do in this time? Because, if I wait for 3 months, then in 3 months, I'll be needing his new vaccinations yet again. So what do we do if it's non-essential, but it's still necessary,
Dr. Jennifer, can you answer that on the other side?
Yeah, so that is an excellent question about the vaccines, right? Because that's all that everybody wants.
Hold that thought. Answer that on the other side. We're gonna go to commercial right quick and come back. We got more Dr. Jennifer. I'm not gonna do this. I will mess last name up so bad. Yeah, Pena. We got Dr. Jennifer Pena. We'll be answering more questions on the other side. More Rickey Smiley Morning Show up next. The Morning Show, 26 minutes after the hour. Y'all, I am so excited. We got Dr. Jennifer Pena. I'm about to say Pena. Pena. I got it. I apologize. Pena. We got Dr. Jennifer Pena on the show. Former White House physician. I'm so excited to have you on. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us and educate the listeners on what we need during this time of crisis. And the number one, just in case you're waking up, the number one thing is to stay in the house, people. Stay in the house. Right, Dr. Jennifer?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me again. It's really the only thing that we can do at this point. Stay home as much as possible. Hashtag stay home. Spread the word to your friends, your family, your coworkers. We really got to do our part, guys, and that's really all that we can do right now.
Right. So, Eva, what was your question? I apologize. You had a question.
I was asking a question for a lot of us parents out here who have young kids. There are a lot of women that are pregnant right now that need prenatal care, that need to go to the doctor. There are a lot of parents that have young kids that need to go get vaccinations, and they're not considered necessary, but they are necessary. So what do we do right now?
Yeah, that is a great question, Eva, and thank you so much for asking that, right? We don't want to deprive our soon-to-be moms or our kids from essential medical care. And when it comes to immunizations and prenatal care and things like that, especially for newborns and infants, those are things that are essential. And so what we're doing is recommending, call your pediatricians, call your OB-GYNs, because there are some clinics that, are giving this kind of service, but they're spacing patients apart. So they're having very specific time slots so that nobody runs into each other in the waiting rooms, and you can still go and get those very necessary medical care visits, okay? So call your doctors, call your providers, make sure that they are able to give you an appointment so that you can continue doing those well visits as scheduled. But again, if that's not happening, then we might have to find alternatives through telemedicine, and vaccination schedules might have to be delayed. But again, for newborns and infants, we're trying to keep those schedules of vaccination. So call your providers and see where you can be fit into the schedule.
Wow. Dr. Jennifer, please come and visit us again. We really appreciate you. And we just, during this time, just getting the information out there is just worth millions just for you coming on this show, because people listening to the show and they just really don't know what to do. So between, you and Dr. Green and Dr. Collier and Janai Thornton talking about finance and just trying to keep people safe and sane. We even have Counselor Unetta Smith on talking about the psycho part and counseling or whatever, because we're in a real crisis right now, and the country have never seen anything like this since 1914 when they had that other virus that killed over 1 million people. So
that's right.
So we want to say thank you, and we really appreciate you. And if anybody have any questions, what's your social media handle?
Yes, absolutely. It would be my honor to come back. Absolutely. And they can find me on Instagram, jennifer.m.pena on Instagram. And I'll try to answer any questions as much as possible. And listen, likewise, don't forget to thank your frontline workers. Thank your doctors, your nurses, your grocery store clerks, people who are out there collecting trash. Don't forget to thank all these folks for putting their lives on the lines for us.
There it is. Y'all give it up and show your love for Dr. Jennifer!
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Dr. Jennifer Pena, y'all. Hey, coming up next, man, we got Kurt Boudreaux up next, man. Let's see what our meal of the day is next. Rickey Smiley Morning Show. We got the one and only New Orleans chef Kurt Boudreaux. Hey, Boudreaux, so we heard that that you can only cook 3 days out of the week because your refrigerator getting full. Why don't you do start doing leftovers, like do a meal, leftovers, meal, leftovers, meal, leftovers. That is a good idea, Boudreaux. You can whip up some leftover meals and like some little leftover recipes of what you got in the fridge.
Okay. I bet.
Yeah, take everything in your refrigerator or whatever and just teach people how to do leftover. That's a great idea for recipe. What you got today, man?
Oh, man, today I got some blackened chicken breast with dill red potatoes and haricot vert, man.
Man, how you put that together?
Oh, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split these breasts, pound them out, and any fat you got on the breast, just cut that off. But I will season it with some blackened seasoning, with some salt, pepper, smoked paprika, cayenne pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, dried thyme leaves, and your favorite, Rick, oregano.
Yeah.
And,
oregano.
So we're going to blacken that chicken in the cast iron skillet and set it aside in a warm oven. For those potatoes, we're going to dice them, and it's going to show on the video. But we're going to oil the pan with some olive oil, medium-high heat, add potatoes, cook till softened, add your dried dill weed, and right before it's done, you just stir that in, man, and remove from the stove. And for the green beans, we're going to cut the tips off both sides, bring some water to a rolling ball, and add some salt, because they keep the green beans green.
Yeah.
Cook for 1 minute. Make sure your skillet is nice and hot. Oil it up with a tablespoon of butter, and just dice your onion and throw that in the pan and sweat that for a minute, and then come on back with your green beans and add that in there, man. And there you have it. Add some salt and pepper, bro, and plate it up.
And what is this meal called again?
Blackened chicken breast with dill red potatoes and haricot vert.
I will be making that. I will be making that today. You believe that? Hey, Eva, you need to do. Hey, Eva, hey, Kurt, join us tomorrow. Eva gonna do her oxtails and butterbean recipe. Eva, you gonna do that for us tomorw?
You know I got you.
That
sounds good though, Boudreaux.
And then Kurt. All right, here we go. Drum roll, Kurt. How can you be reached?
Follow me on Facebook at Boudreaux's Catering and on Instagram Chef_Boudreaux1.
Did he do good, Rock?
Nah, well, his phone kind of faded out.
It's always something, ain't it?
It's something, man.
Hey, y'all give it up and show your love for Kurt Boudreaux.
Thanks, Chef.
Man, the dude at the mall was playing that, man, on the guitar, man. This dude was soloing that thing on the guitar, and dude had no fingers.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's why I was staring. It got me. Stood up there for 3 hours and watched that. You know what I'm talking about? He was playing a little part like that. I said, damn, like, he do that. He was
drumming with the nubs.
No fingers.
No, it was no nubs, buddy. No nubs.
No nubs.
Be quiet, Brett. Just be quiet while you over there in quarantine, sounding like you sitting in a bathroom. Damn the church now. Let's just talk. Let's just vent.
Rat sitting in an empty garden tub.
Oh man.
That's the one they clean sister in.
Hey y'all, do y'all realize we're making history? It's like we just need to throw away the whole 2020. Man, we will go back to hip hop and y'all can put Tom back on for all I care. Just this has been. I sat up here all last year, man. Now we gonna take over for Tom Joyner. We got to go through this. Tom can come back and get all of this. Take us back to 99 Jam. We'll go back to let Trick or Treater go back home. We'll take over 99 Jams. We'll play hip hop again. Let Tom have his back. Ever since Donald Trump and President Obama, help us, please.
Everything.
Please.
Hey, listen, I will throw away 2020. Throw away 2020. I will start with January. I'll start all of it. I'll take winter. Forget the spring. Forget these flowers blooming, these dogwood trees, these azaleas blooming. Man, just, Lord, what did we do wrong, Lord? We done worked hard to get to this point, and then we get ready to take over for Tom, and then now we all got to broadcast from our house.
And this beautiful studio we can't be in.
Okay. Please, Corona,
what y'all wearing?
We need
what y'all wearing?
Coronavirus Jesus, where you at?
Hey, Rick.
Yeah.
What y'all wearing? What you got on right now?
Yeah, even what you got on?
Well, you know me, I'm a hippie. I got a tie-dye hoodie on.
Yeah.
Some tie-dye joggers.
I got on a t-shirt with no draw.
Wow.
Okay.
And a bathrobe.
Go put some drawers on, okay?
There you go, another one of them little dry jokes. Brett. Threw your own self an alley-oop and missed it.
Hey, man, it happens sometimes. It bounced off the rim.
You determined, though.
Off the rim.
Don't even ask
I tried it, though.
You're the
half court shot.
ordinaire.
Hey, Rock, it was a half court shot. I just threw it up.
What you want?
What you wearing, Brad? What you got on?
Ricky keeps calling me. What you want?
Brett, why your microphone sound? Everybody broadcasts from home. Nobody's microphone is going to be perfect. Brett, what's up with your microphone though?
I don't know. It's the people controlling it because ain't nothing changed since it just keeps jumping on and off and doing something, making me sound.
It actually sounds better now though.
Brett, they gonna start
better right now.
Brett, you know they writing checks out according to how your mic sound. You might not be getting paid this week.
Oh, that don't mean she ain't got no more coming in. Don't.
All right, baby, you better tell them.
The Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
Dr. Cardia, baby. Somebody turn Eva mic off. Something wrong with her. Definitely quarantine and on that CBD oil with the HTC in it. Dr. Carly, we are trying to keep people safe. Whatever you said, you had some stuff some new information for us this hour. What you got this morning?
Well, absolutely, Ricky. Once again, there's a private lab that has made a major breakthrough. Remember, one of the problems that we're having is not being tested, and individuals going to the hospital, even with symptoms, and still not being tested. So this private lab has made a major breakthrough. Two things. One, they have a test that will confirm the disease state, i.e., you're either positive for the coronavirus or negative for the coronavirus. Secondly, it does a secondary serology test that confirms immunity. So this will be really good for people that have already been diagnosed with a nasal swab and then they're trying to go back to their usual activities, go back to work, etc., because it will confirm that they now have immunological protection. And again, these individuals should be immune to any further contact. So they won't have to wear masks, they won't have to protect themselves. They should be able to resume normal activities and participate in the workforce. That's going to be very, very good. Remember, the recovery time for a mild case, and I do this for patients that are tested positive. I go 14 days from the onset of symptoms if they are symptomatic, and then we'll repeat the test to see if they are negative. I got about 5 people that I'm waiting to get those results for today. And then I have, in critical cases, though, you can still be positive for up to 3 to 6 weeks. Those are individuals that have been hospitalized, and I have not had anyone that's been hospitalized that has come back to my office for retesting yet. Most of the time, they'll probably be tested before they're discharged from the hospital, and then those individuals should be immune as well. So those will be your super soldiers. Those will be the individuals that are going to change how we're doing in society right now and get us back to normal as quickly as possible.
All right, hold that thought. Hold that thought, Dr. Collier. More Dr. MJ Collier coming up next. Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
The Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
Hey, Dr. Collier.
Rickey Smiley.
Man, my family member got mad at me because I was wiping down my Clorox wipes with Clorox wipes. Is that too much?
that might be a bit much, Rickey. But one time with the Clorox wiping down everything, I just completed wiping down my mouse, my keyboard, everything like that, because I've already started seeing patients this morning. So still in the trenches trying to get it done and trying to still take care of your blood pressure, your diabetes, and all those things that traditionally challenge African Americans.
Now, Dr. Collier, what were you about to say before we went to break?
Okay, we were talking about the new test that's available. It's going to check your serology to determine whether you have developed immunity. Now, also, yesterday, the FDA finally approved hydroxychloroquine for the actual treatment of the coronavirus. So this has been in place for at least a month at the hospitals that I affiliate with. So right now, if a person tests positive, then they should be eligible. They're going to actually release that from the United States stores that they've had in case of major disaster. And so they have millions of doses that are available. It should not be in short supply, so people ought to be able to get it if they've tested positive and their disease is severe enough that they warrant active treatment. Remember, 80% of people will get it and get over it without any treatment other than symptomatic treatment. And those things you should have in your medical regimen. Mucinex DM to control your cough and congestion, a non-sedating antihistamine such as Allegra, I was about to say Viagra, Allegra,
right,
Claritin, and Zyrtec and Zysol, those 4 things, and then a cough syrup. I really like the Delsum. It lasts 12 hours. It is very good, and it also has decongestant in there to help clear up your chest. And then Tylenol for fever or Aleve for fever and body aches. And one of the things that people are saying, they're really getting the body aches and the shakes and the muscles feel bad. So it's really one of the things that Aleve will give you some relief from. An Aleve over the counter is 220 milligrams of naproxen sodium. The prescription strength dose will be take 2 of those every 8 hours. On the bottle, it will say take 1 every 12 hours. But if you need prescription strength relief, 2 of them every 8 hours will do just that for you. But Rickey, it's time to face facts. It's time to face facts. Mask work. People should be wearing masks, and by any means necessary, you have to get Malcolm X. By any means necessary, you capture a mask, you make a mask, you go online and find a pattern for a mask, you wear a mask, and you cover your face. Even if it's just a handkerchief over your mouth and nose, you need some kind of cover. But do not forget, and Dr. Collier has been telling you this for 1 month, you need to cover your eyes and wrap around goggles, not just eyeglasses are good, but there's too many gaps.
Oakleys.
So, wrap around Oakleys or Oakley Styles. Everybody knows what we're talking about when we say that. Oakley Styles, and no matter what color the lens, you can get those and wear them. But it's very important that you cover your eyes, because if someone coughs or sneezes in your face, that's where you're going to get your contamination from. That happened to the First Lady. She was collecting a specimen, and somebody literally coughed right in her face, and I know they were positive. I'm waiting for the results to confirm that. I'm really concerned, boy. But talk about being in the trenches. She is really, really doing that, and she says she would not do that for anybody else, but she is down here with me trying to take care of people, so I have to give her accolades for that, because I couldn't ask anybody to be more of a soldier than she is being.
Punched on the throat. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Dr. Carl. You were saying what?
Rickey.
The hell with that. You sitting up here knowing all this stuff going around, and she checking you, and then you can't turn your head and cough. You crazy?
Exactly.
First lady from Cleveland. I know she didn't just trying to be nice, trying to be
nice and trying to be.
You'd been coming there seeing about a black eye.
I was really disenchanted with that person. You know,
I mean, you didn't like they put their hand over. Man, you shouldn't. Okay. Ooh.
What else, Dr. Carr?
Who is the lady? Put the lady picture on. We need to find her. Put her.
No.
No, it was a man. You know how men are. We are rude, and so it was a man that did that. And you know, but again, it's just the things you don't think about. You're sitting here, you're trying to serve and be good, but one little option like that, and something bad can happen. So we're hoping, and she again is not exhibiting any symptoms at this point, and we hope that remains the same. But literally, we start every day with prayer, saying, God, please protect us. While we're trying to to help those that need help. And so it's what we do. No complaints about that. But again, you have to remember that you're at risk, and you could best be in your workplace. You can just be walking down the street, and you could be maintaining your 6-foot distance, and somebody coughs in the air, and then you right behind them 6 feet, and you walk right through that cloud of mist, and and get exposed. Even though
I was in the grocery store with some scuba diving goggles on. Or whatever. I mean, because that protect your eyes. I mean, even if you got some of those little swimming goggles, like the little ones that put them things on and put a mask on. For real, they protect the eyes.
They protect the eyes.
They keep water from getting in there. I'm sure they can handle a sneeze particle.
Oh, they would be very good. Matter of fact, that would probably be better than the Oakleys because they specifically, they have they're airtight around the eyes, so that would be very, very good. They work very well. But this is not a new strategy. During the flu epidemic in the 1900s, the public health department required everybody to wear masks. They told everybody you needed to wear a mask, and that was even legal ramifications. They would give you a ticket if you were caught outside without wearing a mask. And now, experts are rethinking this now because they've been telling people not to wear masks. You don't need a mask. Now, understand we do need to save masks for health professionals and people that are getting continuous exposure. But if you can find a mask and you can capture a mask, then wear it.
But Dr. Carly, it's a lot of people that are making masks. I ordered some from a lady, I think in Fort Lauderdale. I ordered some from her. But what kind of material for all of the seamstresses out there that's making masks? What kind of material do they need?
Cotton gauze would be good. You need something that's breathable. Remember, we're just creating a barrier. There's no perfect mask that you're going to be able to make over the counter, so to speak. But any barrier is better than no barrier because it's going to protect your mouth when doing so. So we want to make sure that that is not a problem. But again, cotton gauze will be the best. Any cotton blend fabric with a high weave count, and then silk will be good. So again, but you get the other thing is if you make a mask, you got to wear it. It's hot, it's uncomfortable. Even now we're talking about that earlier, that it's not pleasant to wear that mask. It gets hot very, very quickly. And so make sure you maintain your oral hygiene. Wash your face, brush your teeth, use a mouthwash such as Listerine, and then, that will keep it as cool as possible. But, in just literally a very few minutes, it starts to become a bit warm under that mask.
Man, Dr. Carly, give everybody the vitamins and stuff that they need to be taking every day just where they can get their immune system built up.
Okay. Vitamin D, which is a great anti-inflammatory, and it has documented studies that show that it helps decrease respiratory tract infections by 60% when you have a level. The normal range is 30 to 90. If you have a level of 60 or higher, then you have boosted your immune system. So you need to take a dose of at least 5,000 international units per day. And then probiotics. Probiotics will protect your mucous membrane from your mouth to your rectum, and this has been shown to be the entry point for the COVID-19 virus. It comes through mucous membranes, and they are finding positive specimens in people's stools and people's vomitus. So it's very important that you protect yourself with probiotics in doing so. And then omega-3 fish oil, which is a great anti-inflammatory, and we know it has immune benefits. It helps boost your immune system. So those are Dr. Collier's big three. Also, I recommend zinc supplements and vitamin C supplements, such as Airborne, and then any zinc product that you can get.
Yeah. Dr. Colley, let everybody know how you can be reached.
Okay, you can reach me on all social media at Ask, that's ASK Dr. MJ, that's DRMJ, Ask Dr. MJ on all social media, or go to my website, lipodrops.com, find out how to not get that COVID 15 pounds. We don't want anybody gaining weight. We don't want anybody's blood pressure going up because a 5-pound weight gain increases your blood pressure, increases your blood sugar. So we want to keep that under control. But you can also find out about those products that will boost your immune system function. Lipodrops.com.
There it is. And if you're driving out there, if you're a truck driver, you out there across the country, don't dare go to RS Comedy right now, or you would definitely have a wreck. Because when he was talking about putting those masks on, or whatever. But we just want to keep everybody safe. Dr. Carly.
Smiley.
Don't go to RS Comedy if you drive. If Morning Breath was a person. Love you, Dr. Carly.
Love you back, Rickey Smiley. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, stay on RS Comedy if you're driving.
Okay, bye-bye.